Good morning, everyone. I'm going to continue to let participants into our meeting room. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. All right, it looks like we have just about everyone here. And our panelists are here. We might have a few students that continue to jump in throughout the session, but we'll go ahead and get started for the sake of time. I want to give everyone a chance to share about their organizations. Welcome to the last day of our virtual involvement week. We're really excited to hear from our creative and special interest groups today, and just glad that y'all would be willing to share your time with us on a Friday morning. So just a little bit about the session. And first, I'll just share my introduction. My name is Haley Anderson, and I serve as Assistant Director for Leadership Programming with the Ole Miss Student Union. And I'm excited to moderate this session today. We also have panelists from several different student orgs that are going to be answering some questions for our new students. Panelists, I'm going to send you in the chat the order of organization. So just so we're not speaking over each other and to avoid any confusion and just to keep everything pretty fluidly flowing, we'll have this order of speaking, and I can kind of facilitate and call on you as we go about responses. I think everyone's pretty well versed in Zoom by now. We know keep that mute button on unless you're speaking, just so we don't get feedback in the audio. I also want to share with you that we are going to be having a live transcript of this session. So if you look at the top of the chat, I've already posted a link to our Otter live notes. So you can click on that and you can see the transcript as it's compiled throughout the session. We're also recording this session as well, and we'll upload it to our YouTube channel and our website later today, and we'll have live captioning that's overlaid on the video. So if you miss any part of the video or you want to share it with some friends or panelists, you want to use that as a recruiting tool or to share out within your networks, please feel free to pull that from our YouTube channel. And like I said, it'll be on the website as well. So panelists, please, I want to make sure we hear from everyone and we get to know all about your organizations. We do have a full 90 minutes together. Even if we don't use all of that time, I just want to make sure that we keep our responses pretty succinct just so we can hear from everyone. And we have tons of questions for you. So we're going to make sure we hit every angle of what your organizations have to offer. Also, I'm going to just open the floor once I get through our set list of questions. At the end, I'll just kind of open the floor to you panelists to share anything that you might not have had the opportunity to address yet. And likewise, students that are joining us, please know that at the end there's going to be a Q&A that's open to y'all to unmute and ask a question live, or you can post a question in the chat or send one to me privately that I can ask on your behalf. So we will go ahead with that and get started with some introductions of our panelists. Like I said, we're just going to go off of the list that's in the chat right now. So panelists, if you would give us your name, your position within your organization, and then tell us about what year you are and your major as well. So we'll just take it from the top.
I do not see the list.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Yeah, I don't see the list.
Oh, you're not seeing it in the, okay. Let's see. Oh, that's why I sent it to the waiting room. I didn't even know that there was a chat for the waiting room. How about now? Good? Okay, thanks y'all.
So I'm Gianna Schutz. I'm the executive director of Ghostlight Repertory Theater. I'm a senior, sorry y'all, and I'm a double major in managerial finance and theater arts, and I'm excited y'all are all here to hear about our organizations.
I'm Catherine. I'm the artistic director for Ghostlight Repertory Theater. So basically my job is just to keep the artistic integrity of each show. And I'm a senior, and my major is I'm a BFA in acting for stage and screen. And I also dabble in some marketing. But yeah, I'm excited to speak to you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
My name is Michaela Steed. I'm a co-president for the Rebels Against Sexual Assault. I'm a junior and a English and journalism double major. I'm happy to be here with y'all too.
Hi, I'm Rowan. I'm from the Vasari Society. I'm the treasurer, and I'm a senior art history major, and I'm excited to hear from you guys today.
My name is Sergio Brack. I am the president of Ole Miss Esports. I am a senior sociology major. And I'm excited to get to talk to you all, tell you all about our organization. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, or even more importantly, you can contact my correspondent, who's going to introduce himself now. Jimmy, you're muted.
Of course I am. My name is Jimmy Palmer. I'm actually a staff member, not a student, but I am the esports coordinator, and I help out the esports organization any way I can.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alexia Carr. I'm with Phi Theta Kappa Alumni Association. I am actually a graduate member and a second-year student pharmacist, but undergrad, I was a pharmaceutical sciences major. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or the transfer admissions counselors, Anne Lauren Heavener or Amy Bernstein.
Hi guys, I'm Tallulah Jones, and I'm serving as this year's Chief of Staff for TEDx. So excited you guys are here today, and I can't wait for y'all to learn more about our organization and all the other organizations here today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, panelists, for those great introductions. Next, we're just gonna go back down through the same order. And I'd love if you could tell us about what's the mission of your organization? What are your core values as an organization? What is that something special that y'all contribute to campus?
So Ghostlight Repertory Theater is a wholly student-run theater company. Our board is made up of students, our members are students, our shows are directed by students, we have student actors in the show, student designers. We do have a faculty advisor, but I would say they're a little bit not as connected. They don't do a lot of work for us. We really kind of wholly run everything. So our goal is just to create a space where students can make art, create new art, play around. We have a lot of people who aren't theater majors who are involved in GoSight. So like say you did theater in high school and this is something that you're really passionate about and you wanted to continue to feed that passion, this is a great place for you to come and create art with us. It's also a wonderful experience for theater majors to maybe try something new. So I know Catherine is an acting major, but like she has stage managed a show before, or some people will costume design a show and that they've never done before. So it's just a place where you can experience theater, try new things in a safe and very fun environment.
Yeah, so kind of going off of Jonna, it's a great experience. You're going to get a lot of like real world experience, especially before I was artistic director, I was acting as marketing manager, which has now turned into 3 jobs this summer for marketing for different companies. So it really does provide a lot of real world experience, whether you're looking for administration experience or you just want to get back in the theater or you're just curious. We're always happy to talk to new people and welcome new people, and it's just a great environment, and yeah, it's just the best. I love it.
I think our like contribution on campus is that we bring a lot of, I'd say like different theater. Like we try to do stuff that is really fun and interesting for college students, especially. Like last 2 years ago, we did Heather's the Musical, which a high school probably wouldn't be able to do, a university department probably wouldn't be able to do, but because we are a collegiate student theater group, we're able to kind of do pieces of art that kind of push boundaries and are really fun for people our age to experience.
Right, and the membership gets to choose all of the shows we're doing, so it's really truly like student run and student like pushed, if you will, like for them to really be able to produce what they're interested in. And yeah, and if you always have like a special interest, we're always willing to work with you and find a position for you in our company. I think that's all we have.
Thank y'all so much. Magnolia Grove. Do we not have someone from Magnolia Grove in introductions? Did I miss that? Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Rasa.
Hi. So Ross's main mission, we advocate for survivors on campus of in Oxford community of sexual violence, domestic violence. Our primary goal is education. We have a peer ed program where we teach students how to respond to issues involving sexual or domestic violence and statistics and facts on the matter, primarily focused on a campus environment. We also work with the Violence Prevention Office to help survivors and advocate for policies that will protect them. And we work with OPD, the Oxford Police Department, and the University Police Department. I had something and then I kind of lost my train of thought. We also, our biggest event, for instance, we have Take Back the Night in the spring semester. We sadly didn't get to have it this last semester, but it's a march to support survivors. And we also go speak to university housing. We go to Campus Walk. We go to the freshman dorms like Pittman. We go to Minor and Burns, Crosby, RH3, all of those. And we teach incoming freshmen and upperclassmen about the dangers on college campuses. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Michaela. Next group.
So the Vasari Society is basically a club where we learn about and create art. And it was started by art history majors, but it's really open to anyone. So you don't have to be in the art department to be a part of this organization. We welcome everybody. We have people from communication science disorders, classics, just everywhere on campus. And our goal is to really just create a community where everyone can kind of come together, meet new people, learn about the department, about resources in Oxford and around Oxford area. We do a lot of lectures. We bring people in to talk about the field. We do field trips. We participate in art crawls and all kinds of other fun arts related activities in and around Oxford.
Thanks, Rowan. Let's hear from esports.
Okay, so Ole Miss Esports is the premier gaming and competition organization at the University of Mississippi. So if you're into video games at all or interested in working in esports, working in gaming, this is definitely the place for you. We have plenty of facets you can get involved, whether it be through videography, photography, social media. All this is what it takes to run a collegiate esports organization and make it run successfully. So we're always looking for new people with any talents to find a way for you to get involved. We're a super diverse community, super inclusive. Nobody's turned away. Regardless of skill, we have people that, you know, play games casually and don't want to compete at all. And then we have our competitive side of things where, you know, people compete for the school and compete against other schools for money and for stature. We're also the premier esports organization in the Southeast. When people think of the SEC and esports, Ole Miss Esports is at the top of that conversation majority of the time. So anything gaming oriented on campus revolves around us. So if you're looking to get involved in a place that's a wholesome community of people just to play games with, or if you're looking to take it a little more seriously and get involved in a competition, then we're the organization for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Alexia?
So I'm with Phi Theta Kappa Alumni Association, and our organization provides leadership and service opportunities to students who are members of Phi Theta Kappa before transferring to the University of Mississippi. So our PTK Alumni Association hosts like social and leadership and service opportunities throughout the year for students who want to continue their involvement with Phi Theta Kappa once they transfer. So some of our involvement would look like welcoming and accompanying Phi Theta Kappa members while they're still at their own campuses to our campus and just kind of listen to them and share stories with them, like kind of helping recruit. We also helped host the regional meeting this past March, so that rotates campuses every 3 years. And so we had the regional meeting here. And then we also have like fun outings like bowling, axe throwing, watching movies with the other Phi Theta Kappa members.
Awesome. Thanks so much. How about y'all, TEDx?
Hey, so if y'all aren't familiar with the organization TED, it's an international organization that believes in the power of ideas to change attitudes and lives and just connect people from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life. And TEDx, we have a chapter at Ole Miss, and we believe the same thing. It's at the core sharing ideas worth spreading. And so we normally choose about 10 to 12 speakers on all different topics. Last year we had a doctor that flew in from Australia to talk about heart disease. We have people that talk about music. We have people that talk about art. We have people that talk about some really hard-hitting science stuff. So it just is, it's a really great experience for so many reasons, and it connects so many different people around Oxford and on campus, but also with like the community, which is, it's really great, and it's unique in that it gets people talking about things that aren't necessarily in your day-to-day casual conversation, but things that need to be spoken about. And so we really believe in unifying the city of Oxford so that we can
create ripples that go out into Mississippi and the United States and just impact generations. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I have to say I did attend TEDx this year, and it was one of my favorite events on campus in the last year. So for our new students, it's a great opportunity. You'll see staff members, faculty members, students, everyone come together to learn about some really cool stuff. So definitely check out all of these organizations. That's just one I definitely have a personal experience with.
That's awesome.
So, yes. So we're going to roll into the next question. Some of you talked about this a little bit, but tell me about your favorite event, meeting, maybe it's a training, just like one of your favorite aspects of your organization or something that you do every year.
Well, for me, Ghostlight puts on productions every year. I'm gonna say that's my favorite. So this year we're gonna be doing 2 productions and 2 special events. This year it's obviously gonna be a little bit different just because we do have to be more virtual. But yeah, I just love seeing the creative process of that all unfold. And we have a huge production team. So that consists of like costume designers, makeup designers, set designers, literally anything you can think of. And then our board, which is going to consist of like me and Jonna, and then a couple other people to handle some more administrative items. And then the director, the AD, getting just to talk with the actors. It's just like a really great process to watch unfold. And then at the end of it, look at the final product and be like, wow, we all did this, and sometimes less than a month. So I think it's just a very accomplishing feeling. But I'm sure Jonna can speak on more of our little events that we do during the year.
Yeah, so this fall semester, we will be doing The Last 5 Years and Romeo and Juliet. The formats are going to be kind of different, not very traditional, but if you want to follow us on like our social media, all of that will be kind of released soon about what we're planning on doing and how we plan to make art in the environment that we're currently in. But throughout the year, we also do lots of little fun events kind of for our memberships. We've done little painting parties, we do cabarets. My like brainchild and my personal favorite thing is last year we started doing a ghost tour of campus. So we went and we took groups kind of late at night and we walked all around campus, and there was a person at each place on campus that talked about the history of the building and the ghosts that live there. We have a very haunted campus, if you didn't know. Hopefully we'll be able to do the ghost tour this fall. We'll probably have to figure out something, but it's very interesting. And then personally, I just benefited a lot from being on like the different production teams and like working on the shows. So like I've done all different kind of positions under the sun. Like I've worked on the board, like I've set designed, I've stage managed, I've lighting designed. So I've done so many different things, and each of the experiences of working on a show with different people, with my peers, has been really great. And my most favorite thing is we have to strike all of like our sets and costumes and clean up everything at the end of a show. We call that strike. And I like to play really loud music and have like a dance party during our strike. So I call them like my strike dance parties, when we're like taking down the lights and sweeping the stage and doing all that. And it's very, very fun. And we play fun music and we have a blast. But yeah.
Is it okay if I put the social media like in the chat?
Yes, thank you for asking that. And to all of our panelists throughout, please utilize that chat. If you want to send your social media handles, a link to your website, your email, please utilize that for sure. And then students, keep an eye on that chat box and take a quick screenshot of it or jot down those contacts.
Cool. So I'll put the Instagram in there. Like Jonna said, there's going to be more information, especially just as our year is going to be so odd that there's going to be more like updates about how we're handling everything COVID wise. But yeah, we're doing Last 5 Years and we're doing Romeo and Juliet, and both of those are going to be fantastic. So yeah, that's all I think we have.
Thank you so much, Ross. So we're going to turn things back over to you.
Okay, I spoke on this a little bit, but my favorite event by far is Take Back the Night. Rasa does a lot of things behind the scenes, a lot of presentations and general meetings, but Take Back the Night really showcases what Rasa is all about. It's a safe place for survivors to come and feel supported and for advocates to come and support survivors. We do a march around campus, and the plans, hopefully for this April, because we hold it during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, is just start in the square and then work our way to campus. We invite guest speakers and we go to the Grove stage, and occasionally there are performers who sing. But the most important part of Take Back the Night is the Survivor Speak Out, where we allow survivors of sexual violence to share their stories and experiences anonymously in a safe and supportive space. No names are mentioned. There's no video recording. Any journalists that might be there aren't allowed to take pictures or record any names for that either. And that's probably the most important thing we do. And the biggest, it takes a long time to plan. Aside from that, we have smaller events. We hold Rasa roundtables where we pick a topic. We've done sexual violence in media before. Consent. Last year we held Let's Taco About Consent, and we had tacos and met in the Honors College with the HOCO Minority Engagement Club and had a conversation and open discussion about consent. So it's not just us speaking at people, it's people contributing and asking questions, because our main goal is to help educate people about sexual violence. And that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Michaela. You all are doing such impactful work on our campus. I know it is very much appreciated. Next, Rowan, you want to tell us a little bit more about your events?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things that our organization does is we do trips to museums, galleries, and artist workshops kind of in and around the area. Last semester, we had planned to do a big trip to Memphis where we'd see 2 different museums, but unfortunately that didn't get to happen. So hopefully this upcoming year we'll get to do the Memphis trip, or possibly a trip to Jackson to the Mississippi Museum of Art, where they have a temporary exhibit on impressionists like Degas. So that's probably my favorite thing we do. Also, a lot of our officers, including myself, work at the University of Mississippi Museum. So we often do specialized tours with them whenever they have special exhibits, or to kind of meet the staff who run the museum, so that you can meet with them and ask them questions and kind of get to network as well. So that's probably my favorite thing. We also do a lot of really fun social events like movies nights, game nights. We have like art themed games that are really cool. We also had planned to do like a Bob Ross art therapy night for finals, but unfortunately that didn't get to happen, so maybe we'll do it this semester. But yeah.
We love Bob Ross. Alexia, tell us about some of your events. Oh wait, I'm sorry, esports, you first.
So by far my favorite event that we do is the Esports Egg Bowl. We compete against MSU, usually in 7 different esports titles, and we compete for the Egg Bowl trophy, Esports Egg Bowl trophy. The first year that we had it, this is actually our 3rd year. It'll be on October 10th. We just recently announced that it'll be moved to an online event, obviously because of COVID. But that's one of the beauties of esports, is that we can be flexible and move it to an online event. And so, you know, the first year they took the trophy, we lost, but this past year, easily one of the best moments of my life, period, not just as part of this organization. We won the trophy. I got to bring it back home to Ole Miss. And so that's easily some of my best moments, just seeing the passion that everybody puts into practicing leading up to it, and competing on stage, like the yelling, the cheering, it's just an amazing atmosphere to be a part of. We also do in-person community events. So our community aspect of our organization is just as important as our competing aspect. So we do game nights in Discord every Friday. We do movie nights every Monday where we just sit and watch a movie together. We also used to travel to movie theaters to watch stuff together. We would go to escape rooms, just even out to eat on a regular basis together, just to build some camaraderie. We also traveled to a lot of events to compete in. This past year, we went to DreamHack Atlanta to compete. And that was easily one of the favorite trips I've been on as part of the organization. We went to our Rocket League team, actually got to travel to New York to compete. So I know they really enjoyed that trip as well. I can't think of anything else other than that, Jimmy, if you have one of your events that you like.
So I actually, some of the best events we have are just like, we have weekly meetings every other week, and after the meetings, a lot of students will just hang out and play games together, and those are always a lot of fun. But one of the trips I really enjoyed was that first trip we took to University of Tennessee in Knoxville. They do something called Volunteerland or Volland every year, and it's really a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks, esports. Now, Alexia, tell us about your event.
So I kind of alluded to some of this earlier, but one of my favorite ways to get involved with this organization is through welcoming prospective transfer students on our campus from their current college campuses. With these transfer-specific visits, we get to listen to them and hear their experiences and see what they're involved in on their campus. And then we also get to share our stories about why we chose the University of Mississippi and all the good things that come with being a student on this campus. So that's just one of my favorite things, is welcoming them. Otherwise, we also do, we have weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, and we also get together for, movies, bowling, axe throwing. So it's not just us, it's also helping other people. So those are my favorites.
Awesome. Thank you. And then last but not least, TEDx.
Hey, so obviously my favorite event of the year is the actual TEDx event. But a really cool aspect of this event that actually sort of blossomed this past year is we've had sort of a reception in the lobby after the event where get to know people that came to the event, audience members, and audience members have a chance to speak with the speakers, ask them questions, go more into depth with them about their talk if they wish. And people stayed in the lobby we ended up having to kick people out of the lobby at some point because the Ford Center was closing down. People were so engaged, and it really allowed the conversations to keep happening, which at the core is what TEDx is about. And so it really, the mingling aspect of it and getting to form community with the people that attend the event and also with the speakers that are experts on these topics was such a great opportunity that we got last year. And I think we're going to really try to incorporate that more this year. And especially now with COVID, it's kind of been sort of a cool thing in this experience because everybody is now well-versed in Zoom. And so we're going to try this year to incorporate some sort of almost like a book club sort of aspect to it, where you can form a community before and after the event and talk about sort of some of the topics that are discussed during the event. So stay tuned for that as we start developing that and talking about that with our faculty advisors. But other than that, we have meetings twice a month, and we catch up on everything. And a lot of times we'll hang out afterwards and just talk and get to know the people that, are new, and just really build a community with our group because you spend so much time together, but oftentimes it's hard to break away from talking about school things to talking about other things. And so we really try to do other stuff together and try to build friendships in the organization. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a lot of really cool events going on, panelists. Appreciate you sharing those with us. Next, let's talk about what the new member experience looks like for your orgs. Tell us why these incoming students, why should they join your organization? And what are some different things they can take advantage of, whether it's, attending events that you put on or actually pursuing membership with your organization. So we will take it back up to the top with our Ghostlight Theater, and y'all take it away.
Cool. So basically, as soon as you join Ghostlight, we have new members of like every age. So that's great. But as soon as you join, you're literally just thrown into the mix, and it's like, okay, let's just get started. You're not a new member, you're just a member, which is something that I've always really enjoyed. I mean, my first semester, my freshman year, I was working on like multiple projects and with stuff I'd never done. I was helping write a show, which is not even, I would not consider that in my wheelhouse. So it's a great experience and you're just thrown in immediately. There's a lot of, new events that we can have freshmen take a part of. As I said, like, we're willing to listen to you no matter what your age is. It's not important to us. You're a creative and we'll value you as that in our department. So yeah, I mean, like I said, as soon as you join in, like, you're thrown into the environment. So whether that's within shows or special events, or you want to audition, or you want to be a crew member or a stage manager, literally anything you can try. And we love having our freshmen join and try new things for the first time. It's exciting and it's how you learn new things. We like to say that no mistake is ever a bad mistake, and we really try to stick by that in our little group, just because everyone is always going to be learning, and we're in college. It's not, the end of the world if you mess up on one thing. So we just like to have that ideals really instilled within our members. But yeah, it's a great organization as soon as you are a freshman, because as I said, we're not going to treat you as a freshman. We're going to treat you as an equal and a member. So yeah. That's all from me. Jonna had to, she had a work emergency, so she'll be back.
Okay, no problem. All right, then Michaela, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, students who join our organization, especially the new ones, it's not required that they go through the peer education training, but most students do. And during that, we have people from around campus, like Shelley Poole from the Violence Prevention Office, Honey Ussery from Title IX, and we have the director of the Counseling Center, or some of the counselors come and teach about sexual violence on the college campus and how to support survivors. It really helps approach a sensitive topic that most people just try to avoid in general. And there's a lot of leadership skills that come from being a peer educator or a RASA member. And we also have a lot of little events, discussions, and most of our meetings have food at them, so that's always a plus. So yeah, it's hard to say that it's a fun organization because we deal with a very serious issue, but our club is very close-knit. We have a lot of open and honest discussion, and it's a very supportive place, and it's a great place to be. That said.
Thank you so much. Rowan?
Okay, so for first year students, I think the Vasari Society is a great way to kind of meet a lot of students who are interested in similar things in art history and museums and galleries. But probably the most important thing we do for our members is networking. So we bring in a lot of lecturers, professors, museum professionals. Even last year, we brought in someone who was the director at a gallery in Berlin, who was an alumni. He came and talked to our students, answered their questions. It's kind of a good place for students to not only meet their peers and their faculty and staff, but also to meet people who are professionals in the field and to ask questions and learn about different routes they can take and different careers they can have.
Thanks so much, Rowan. Esports?
So for new members in our organization, you know, obviously, like I said before, like we're the home for gaming on campus. So if you're interested in video games and you need like a community to play with or just to talk about video games or anything like that of that nature with, then we're definitely your organization. We also provide opportunities for people in different, you know, interest fields to build a portfolio. We have plenty of graphic designers and photographers and videographers that, you know, have gotten you know, more clientele because of the work that they've done for us within esports. So it's always a really good place to start if you need somewhere to do work for. So if you want to be a part of the organization, I linked the Discord server in the chat. You would just join that. And if you DM me, I can give you the student role if you send me your Ole Miss email. And from there, it's really just what you make it. We have people, like I said, that just, you know, chill in general chat. We have people that jump and chime in the anime discussion with the other nerds, and like that's perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. And then we have people that, you know, want to compete, obviously, and that's fine too. Tryouts are going to be in late August for all of our competitive teams. I also want to emphasize that if we don't have a competitive team for a game that you're interested in, by all means, let me know. I'm a product of that. When I joined the organization my freshman year, we did not have a Call of Duty team, and I was even laughed at for asking if we had one. But I created one, and, you know, fast forward a year later, and we're the #1 Call of Duty team in the country. So by all means, don't be afraid to ask if, you know, there's a game that you're interested in and we don't have a team for it. There's no better time to get involved than now, because obviously with varsity athletics being up in the air, we're at the forefront of competition at Ole Miss. So this is really our time to shine. This is our second year as a varsity program, so you will be an official representative of Ole Miss as a competitor. So definitely understand that you're going to be held to a high standard if you're competing for us. And I think that's all I have. I don't know if you have anything else, Jimmy.
So one of the things I'd point out is that if you join Ole Miss, not only if you join esports at Ole Miss, you can be part of the club, but you could also be part of the varsity team, and the two are intertwined very closely. But even if you don't compete, if you do one of the roles like Sergio was suggesting, where you do media or graphics or any of that, you're not just being shown to the Ole Miss family. We go around the world. We have people all over the world, United States, multiple countries, that will see that work. So the exposure is very, very large.
Thank you, Sergio and Jimmy. Alexia, you want to tell us a little bit more about your membership experience or how to join?
Being a transfer student is a really unique experience, and I believe that it's just good to have a family of students and mentors and even advisors who've had a similar educational experience. Once you transfer, you'll need those people to confide in and lean on and get advice from. And so that's the main thing that this organization can bring to a new transfer student at the University of Mississippi.
Awesome. Thank you so much. How do we get involved with TEDx?
Hey, so TEDx, planning an event, like TEDx, there's so many different facets to event planning. So there's opportunity for all students across all majors to get involved. And we actually just opened up this week applications for a student organizing committee. So you can go to our Instagram. It's at TEDx, UNIVMS. I put it in the chat. And the link is in our bio for the application. And you have about a month, a little less than a month to apply. But we have committees. I have the list up right here. Fundraising, public relations, marketing, hospitality, speaker relations, accountancy, policy supervising, and stage management. So As you can see, there's a chance for everyone to get involved and get some real hands-on experience in whatever field you're pursuing, and have a fun time doing it. And it's something that's so rewarding and bigger than us, bigger than the team, bigger than Ole Miss. And so it really gives a chance to make a difference in your community, but also get some really great experience in college for whatever you're majoring in and planning on doing in life. So.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you all for sharing that with us. I want to talk a little bit more now and transition into hearing more about your personal experiences, panelists. Tell us about, what have you learned as a result of being a part of your organization? You have your time in the classroom. Of course, you're focused on your academics, but what have these organizations done for you, and how have they transformed you or given you those transferable skills that you are going to be able to utilize in these next steps post-grad?
Cool. So with Ghostlight Repertory Theater, there's a lot of experiences to be learned across the board. I guess the most experience I've typically learned is I had no experience with anything administrative, on a board. I had leadership positions in high school, but I've never had someone truly put me in charge and I have to know all the answers. So that's been something that's been exciting. And as I said, I was the marketing manager for 2 years. I had never had a marketing job before. And now this summer I've had 3. So it's really something, it really can take you far if you're willing to put in the work. And Jonna, had to go, but she as well started as manager before executive director, and she's worked with different companies across the country as their business intern and manager. It's just a lot of really good real life experience you can get. Many of our performers are typically working throughout the summer for different companies, performing and getting paid for it, which is super exciting. And as well as our designers, which is great. So we're truly offering a lot of real life experience, whether you're interested in theater or not. I know a lot of us have said, there really is so many different opportunities, whether you're truly interested to this organization at the core, you can find something that you're going to be intrigued by, whether that's as an audience member or just enjoying the people you're around, and that's all you want to do. That's totally okay, and we're welcome to that. But yeah, so I guess my experience has been kind of like a ladder. I think I just started very tentative and a little bit unsure, and now I've just become so confident within my skills that I felt like my major wasn't really offering me that confidence that my peers could give me and the support. I think it's just, we all can understand that it is very different. So yeah, I think it's been really great. I plan on pursuing marketing and getting an arts administrative master's after this. So it really has changed my life, and I didn't even realize. So yeah, it's been great. And I know it's worked out the same for several of our board members, and even just our members. So that's awesome. Yeah, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Catherine. That was a great way of explaining that growth that offered you. So we appreciate that. Michaela, would you mind sharing with us your experience?
Yeah, so I joined RASA as soon as I got to campus. And it really helped me transition from high school to college. It gave me an opportunity to meet new people and learn how to talk to people on campus. In my experience, this isn't the same for every RASA member, but there's been a lot of public speaking involved. So it really helps in that way. There's also a lot of one-on-one talking between me and other club members, or me and people interested, or just other students on campus, which has personally helped me as a journalism major. It helps me with my interview skills and making things more personable. I will say probably the biggest help was being a part of RASA and being co-president. It helped me get my job that I'm going to have in this upcoming semester. I'm going to be a community assistant, and they were really interested in the fact that I was RASA president, so that really helped me out. And also students who are psychology, counseling, public policy, leadership majors, and even health and criminal justice, they can really benefit from working with RASA. It looks really good on resumes, and a lot of jobs and employers like to see that people are knowledgeable about this. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Michaela. All right, Rowan, tell us about your experience.
So, I'd say the best thing about the Vasari Society is all the people I've met. We're a really close-knit group, and like we know everyone on a first name basis. I've met some of my best friends through this organization, and we text each other every day. It's just a really fun place to meet new people. And some of the people I've met through this organization have even helped me get a lot of the opportunities for volunteer work, even my job at the University Museum. So if you're interested in pursuing a career in an arts-related field, or even just want to meet new people on campus, this is a great place for you. It's really kind of, there's not a lot of requirements for a major. You participate, for our members, you participate as much or as little as you would like. So if you really just want to meet some people, if you're a freshman and you don't know a lot of people, I personally came here from Florida, so I didn't know anyone when I got here, and this organization really helped me meet a lot of like-minded people.
Awesome. What a cool way to get connected. Thanks for sharing that. Sergio, you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with esports?
Yeah, so I joined the organization, like I said, 3 years ago when I was a freshman. And I was sort of like lost in the shuffle. Like college isn't the kindest to like us nerds, but I didn't really have a home. Like I thought being a nerd was like something to look down upon. Like I was ashamed to tell people, hey, I watch anime, I play video games and stuff like that. But like Ole Miss Esports definitely gave me a space to where I felt comfortable doing stuff like that. To the point where like now it's like a part of my everyday conversation. Like I even have like a warning, like when people start talking to me, hey, I'm a nerd, just so you know, like we're gonna talk about nerdy stuff. So I really enjoy that aspect of the organization, just being able to talk to different people that are like-minded and, are interested in the same things as me. And, on the cheesier side, I guess Ole Miss Esports really taught me leadership and flexibility. Being a part of something so prominent and with so much weight to it, I guess, a lot of people are depending on me to do things correctly. The fate of the organization rests in me and Jimmy's hands for the most part. And so, having that pressure could be, a bad thing, but I think it's definitely helped me. The best example I can give with flexibility is, we plan for our event Landshark, which we're going to have schools from across the country come and compete at the JAC with us this past semester. And literally on a 3 weeks notice, COVID shut everything down and we had to switch it to an online event. So just being able to work around stuff like that, I think on the fly has definitely helped me. Esports definitely helped me find my career path. I started as a pre-pharmacy major, and I quickly switched after I took organic too. And so did that, and I ended up switching to sociology, which I was really passionate about, but didn't really know where I wanted to maneuver within that industry. And so, being in esports has opened up a lot of doors for me. I'm not going to sit here and like flex accolades and achievements, but there's definitely some things that I've been able to do personally that I wouldn't have been able to do if it wasn't for my time at Ole Miss Esports. One of those things being able to compete at a pro Call of Duty tournament all the way in California. I definitely wouldn't have gotten to do anything like that if it wasn't for my time within Ole Miss Esports. I think I have one more thing. Oh, no, that was it. I don't know if you have anything, Jimmy.
I'll just add one other thing. So we're still a fairly new organization on campus. This is only our second year second full year, going on third year of existence on campus, and we've already got graduates that have left the university that were members of Ole Miss Esports. And those people are actually using their experience from Ole Miss Esports in their careers now. And I think that's a wonderful thing. We also have students that just graduated in the spring that are now looking at jobs in esports, which is something they never even considered 4 years ago when they first started in college.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, y'all. Alexia, tell us about your experience.
So from the community college level, this organization offers scholarships and research opportunities and many leadership experiences. So students move into the next phase of college, I think it's important to continue developing those research skills and leadership experiences and building connections. So because of those experiences at your community college, I think it makes for a smoother transition at the University of Mississippi, and that's something that I experienced myself. So I had those research skills at my community college. So when I came here, I kind of felt like I was lost, like I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I kind of thought back on what I did with Phi Theta Kappa at my community college, and that kind of helped lead me into a research group that I'm in now. And so I've been able to do research projects with them. And also I needed a job when I got here. And of course, this group is kind of led by admissions counselors. And so I went to the Office of Admissions, and so I was able to get a job through them. And I've just been working there ever since I got here. And so, you know, of course, scholarships as well. So I think all of those things have maneuvered me into, you know, the right way, path that I'm supposed to be on through this organization.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear. Tallulah, do you want to share your experience?
Yeah, so I actually joined the TEDx committee last year, kind of hit the ground running. I was on the fundraising committee, and so basically 99% of the event is sponsored. I mean, all the money we raise is all the money we have to use for the event. So it's a very vital part of the organization. And so my team and I really focused on outreach in the community and nailing down those sponsorships and partnerships. And I am an engineering major. And so I found it and beneficial because I got to work with numbers and math and problem solving, but also it shows that I was able to use my communication skills. And so it's kind of like a multifaceted position, and it's been a really huge help to me in interviews and just conversations with, you know, possible employers and just professionals in general, showing that I was able to, you know, not me personally, but our team was able to nail down these sponsorships through problem solving and also communication. And so all of our positions are helpful in different ways depending on what your major is. But the good thing about TEDx is it's a nationally and internationally recognized name. So if you have TED on your resume, or you're talking to a professional and you mention that you were involved with TED, they're going to know what you're talking about, and they're going to oftentimes engage you in a conversation with that. And it's just a really great way to make connections and also show off what you can do, and that you had real world experience planning an event like TED. And then also, it's a really great opportunity to get to know faculty members as well as people in the community. Sometimes it can be intimidating to form a relationship with some of your professors and really get that one-on-one time that you need in the future for recommendation letters and things like that. And so we have amazing faculty advisors that are really hands-on with us and help us every step of the way, always available, always willing to help. And so having them as a resource now and in the coming years is just so valuable. And having them I had one of our faculty advisors write me a letter of recommendation this past year, and we have such an intimate relationship now because she's worked with us for so long that she can actually, genuinely write about me and know me. And so that's a really valuable experience that we get in TED also.
Awesome. Well, thank you all panelists for sharing your personal experiences. I think it's really valuable to hear, how you've done within your organizations and the impact it's made on you. To kind of give our incoming students more of a perspective of what membership experience looks like, could you talk a little bit about what are some of the qualities of your active members? How can, just to kind of help us, the new students see themselves within your organizations?
Sure. So for us, an active member, it's pretty straightforward. We'll have membership meetings throughout the year. We typically like to have like 1 or 2 a semester. Just to get everyone in the same room is really nice. And they're usually pretty short too, we have to go to class. So, but sort of like Jonna was saying before, we do a lot of like group bonding events. Like we have like paint nights, and then we do like our ghost tours, which is really fun. And we'll do a lot of times just like bake sales, and that's to raise money, but it's also nice that you can just like sit with your friends and like kind of goof off for like the hour and a half you have together before your next class. But yeah, so basically if you are a member, you're not required to do anything. It's really just like what you're interested in and what you're feeling like you want to do. Especially if you are a freshman, you might feel like you just want to like feel it out the first year or the first semester, and that's totally okay. So typically, a member will be either auditioning or designing on a show. Typically, once a semester, we do 2 events or 2 productions per semester. So, so typically you'll be working on at least 1 a semester. That's like sort of like the typical goal. But as I said, we don't like to pressure our members into doing anything. We really want it to be what you're interested in and like at your own pace. Because college can be a lot. So that's typically what it looks like. And then with our membership meetings, so it's a pretty low-key experience if you want it to be, but it can also be a lot of work if that's what you're interested in. So you really just get to make it your own, which is nice, I think, because sometimes I feel like, especially your freshman year, a lot of organizations can feel very overwhelming. At least that's how it felt for me. So I found that this was a nice way to kind of ease in at my own pace my freshman year. But to become a member, you go to our website, which I put in the chat, and there's just like a link at the top, and it's like, click to become a member. And so you just have to fill it out. We're currently switching to go through the forum, as like everything will be done through that pretty much this year with all the COVID stuff. So it just seems easier. But yeah, once you're a member, you're going to get emails from us all 4 years or until your almost email is gone. And yeah, so as I said, it's as low key or as high key as you want to make it. So yeah, I think that's something that's really great about our organization and something that makes it special, because you're pairing your creative thoughts with strategic thinking every single day, which I think is great. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. Michaela, what does the membership experience look like in RASA?
There's kind of 2 different options. We have our general membership, and there's no real requirement for that. Anybody can just come to our meetings and join. All they have to do is give us an email address, and they're put on our mailing list where they find out about all of our events. But a lot of our members choose to be peer educators. And peer educators, there's a little more, there's extra requirements for that. You have to go through our training, and you have to attend at least 2 meetings, I believe. And there's presentations that we give to different classes like EDHE and health classes. Those aren't necessarily required, but they're highly encouraged. And but for most of our peer educators, it's not a big issue. A lot of our RASA members are very involved, very determined, and very dedicated to the work we do. And it's not a lot of time. It is some time, but it's not a lot of time taken out of people's schedules.
Thank you, Michaela. Rowan, what does the Vasari Society membership look like?
So like I said earlier, you can participate as much or as little as you'd like. It's really up to you. We do ask that new members pay a $10 fee for the year when you join through Forum, or if you want to send us a message on Instagram, we can get you signed up there. This fee kind of will get you a t-shirt, buttons, and it also really helps us pay for museum field trips and trips to galleries and workshops so that we can provide a variety of experiences for y'all. And like I said, you can be any major. You don't have to be a member of the art department to be a part of Vasari. It's really open for anyone, and we try to provide a lot of variety of events and activities and opportunities, and we really encourage our members to be active in that process. So if there's something you really want to see or some kind of event you want us to include in the upcoming year, just let us know and we'd be happy to include it. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks so much. Esports, what about y'all?
So one of the things that we really take pride in is like how diverse our body is, you know, with race and ethnicity, sexuality, you know, the whole works in each background. I think we're genuinely one of the most diverse groups on campus. So I know I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but there's so many different levels to how you can be involved with esports, whether it be, you know, just chilling in Discord and hanging out and finding people to play with, whether it be competing on a varsity team, or whether it be, you know, just occasionally jumping in Discord and asking, you know, for bells in Animal Crossing. Like it's whatever you make it out to be. Oh boy. Yeah, so, and then also there's also different subcommittees for people to join. So we have a social media team, graphic design team, we have a hype team who focuses mainly on engaging the student body and getting them into what esports is and what we're doing. In terms of announcements and stuff like that, we primarily use Discord for all of that stuff. We usually have bi-weekly meetings in person, but obviously with everything that's going on, it's going to be moved to either Zoom or Discord for the remainder of the semester at least. But for announcements and stuff like that, you can follow us on our social media. That's mainly where we put stuff out, as well as Discord. Discord is the fastest way to get in contact with me or other executive members. You can also contact Jimmy on Discord as well, because he's in there. And yeah, it's really just what you make it. There's plenty of avenues to get involved with esports. It just takes you, you know, taking that initiative and telling us what you want to do.
Thanks so much, y'all. Alexia, what's your membership experience look like?
So membership with PTK alumni is really laid back. We do have bi-weekly meetings. They're not required for you to attend. It's just kind of a way to catch up with everybody and know what events are happening. But there are some requirements. So obviously this is a transfer student specific organization, so you have to be a transfer student. And also you have to have been inducted into Phi Theta Kappa prior to transferring to the university. And lastly, I'd say that you should probably be a person who just needs a family of people who have been there and done that, if you will, as a transfer student, and you're just looking to stay involved on campus once you get here to the University of Mississippi.
TEDx?
Awesome. So to be involved in TEDx, there's multiple different ways that you can be involved. Inside of those different committees that I mentioned earlier, which there's a graphic explaining the whole breakdown of how our team works on the application to join our team on our Instagram in our bio. But within each of these committees, you can either be a committee head or just a committee member. So it's up to you to decide how involved you want to be. We are asking that all members, committee heads and committee members, meet twice a month, just because there is a lot that goes into planning a TED event, and the student team basically does it all. We are picking the theme, the speakers, organizing the day of sort of logistics, the luncheons, all of those sort of things. What is the difference between a committee head and a committee member? Okay, that's a great question. So a committee head works closely with me and my chief assistant, and they sort of are able to delegate to the committee members. So again, there's a graphic explaining all of this on our link in our bio attached to the application to join the team, because sometimes I miss things and won't explain it the best way. But there's like me and my committee assistant, and then the committee heads for the various, you could be, you know, PR, social media, those different committees. There's a committee head, and then under that is the committee members. And so I'll delegate to the committee heads, and they delegate to their committee members. And we're going to meet twice a week. I mean, not twice a week, I'm sorry, twice a month, just to, you know, make decisions such as planning the speakers, planning the event. There's so much that goes into it. It's definitely more of a fall semester heavy organization, even though the event is in the spring, just because so many decisions have to be made in the fall. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just basically, we are very focused on communication, but just because there is so much that needs to be done, and so we communicate heavily through GroupMe, and the fact that we meet so frequently really helps there not to be misunderstandings, and really helps the organization to run smoothly. So if you have any questions also, I've linked my personal email if you want to shoot me any questions if you forget and want to ask me something later. So
awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I do have one final question, but I want to make sure that we're leaving some time at the end, about 15 minutes, for our students to ask any questions. So give me your best, like, classic Twitter length response, like old Twitter that was only 60 characters, to this final question. And that is, you know, we have up and coming students that are going to be the future of these organizations, right? So talk to us about your, you know, what are your long-term goals for your organization? Where do you see yourselves going in the future? And how could these new potential members contribute to that vision for your organization? So we're going to take things up to the top. Catherine, kick us off.
All right, so for the future of our organization, I think we're just really focused on really like updating everything and making it as like modern and accessible as possible. Jonna has been like a really big part with making it more accessible to the university. And I've been a big part of like recreating the aesthetic, if you will, and just making sure that we're providing theater and creative opportunities to our campus is so important to us, and to keep continuing that outreach and making it as fun and accessible as possible. So yeah, that's my 60 character response.
Great job. Go for it, Michaela.
I'm sorry, it's cutting out. But our hopes for the future is to provide more resources for survivors and help, and in the community. We also hope to volunteer more with organizations that are not necessarily on campus, like Family Crisis Services, and partner with OPD and UPD to help educate people on sexual violence. And I think that's it. I think that's all I had to say.
Perfect. Thank you, Michaela. Sergio? Or I'm sorry, Rowan.
So Vasari is really trying to grow so that we can allow bigger, better opportunities in the future. We're looking at hoping to go to New Orleans Museum of Art and other places, you know, farther away that a lot of students, especially first-year students, may not be able to get to. So yeah.
Thank you. Now, Sergio.
So I'll try to be brief because I do want Jimmy to chime in on this too, since he's on a more administrative level. But for me, this is my last semester, so I would really like to be the first two-time Esports Egg Bowl champs. So that's really more my focus is right now. I really want to make that come to fruition. I also want to make it a good event in terms of the stream that we're going to put on. So we're obviously going to need a lot of people doing social media, doing graphic design, the whole work. So like I said, if any of those specialized paths match what you do, definitely let us know. And I'll let Jimmy take over from an administrative standpoint.
So in a more short-term outlook for what we want to do as an organization, one of the very first things we want to do is actually create and build our own facility on campus so that all of our students can get together in one location and hang out, play games, practice, all of that together. Longer term, what we're looking for is to make Ole Miss Esports the premier organization for gamers in the South. And this includes being a leader in diversity and openness. So we'd love to have you come join us.
Thank you so much, esports. Alexia.
So we've recently revised our bylaws to streamline officer expectations, and we also created additional leadership roles. So now there's more opportunities to get involved. Each year, the officer team leads the direction of the group. So it's really up to that team where they want to take the organization for that year. And I feel that that gives an amazing opportunities for the students who are on exec to make real change happen. So it's really up to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. How about TEDx?
So TEDx is quickly growing. Last year, we released our videos from last year 8 weeks ago of this past spring's talks. And since then, we've already gained our second highest views in the history of TEDx. So it's been our second highest viewed event in the history of TEDx at Ole Miss. So we are really looking forward to getting a great group together this year, really growing our organization and spreading ideas farther than Oxford, farther than Mississippi, but just all over and really making a difference.
Thank you all so much. Those were great Twitter linked responses. Now we do have 15 minutes that I want to turn over to our incoming students. Please feel free to, if you would feel comfortable doing so, unmute and ask a question. You can put a question in the chat. You can send one to me privately and I'll read it on your behalf. But just want to have that open space for the next 15 minutes or so. That's yours. All right, so TEDx, you see that? How many members are accepted into your organization?
Oops, okay, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So we really, this year, I have kind of come at the philosophy of if people are willing to work, we'll find a place for you. I'm leaving on the application room to rank your top 3 preferred positions that you'd like to serve in. And so really committed to getting you plugged in where you want to be plugged in. And, there's so many different things that go into planning the event that if you're willing to work, we are excited and willing to work with you. So I would very much encourage you to apply. I'm really excited for this year. I think it's going to be a really great and impactful year.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that question, Elsie, and thank you for your response. Any other questions from our incoming students?
If you don't have much experience, I joined last year and I had no experience at all. And we're all learning side by side. And that's sort of the beauty about we sort of reorganized this year for more leadership roles. And so if you would love to be a committee member, that's the beauty of having a committee head, maybe someone that's more experienced in that area and can kind of lead along the committee members. But then, there's also, I wouldn't feel the pressure at all you don't need prior experience. Don't feel like that hinders you in any way. We're all really learning together, and that's also the beauty of our faculty advisors is they're amazing and are there to answer any questions. If we don't know how to do something or need a little bit of guidance, that's why they're there. But I'm really looking forward to building a team that's experienced in all different levels and all different subjects, so that we can all learn together and learn from each other. So
awesome. Thank you so much. Any other questions, students? Panelists, anything you didn't get to address that you would like to share in these last couple of minutes before we close out?
I know for us, we're having like our own Zoom orientation session next Friday at 4 p.m. If you check your today, I believe from yesterday and the day before, there should be a link for you to sign up on. So if you want to get a more in-depth look at esports and talk to me, Jimmy, and the rest of the executive council, get to meet them, then just sign up through that Google form, open to, any student. Also, if you know any gamers in your friend group, definitely spread the word to them as well for us. We greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Any final announcements, panelists? Any final questions, students? Okay, well, I want to thank everyone again for sharing your time with us this afternoon, or this morning. This afternoon, we do have a couple more sessions. So students, if you're interested, our service and philanthropic organizations will be joining us from 1 to 2:30. And then we're going to have a Get Involved presentation from 3:30 to 5. So that's just going to be kind of like a catch-all about campus events, everything that our office offers in terms of resources and connectivity. So definitely encourage you, if you have some time for the remainder of today, to log back onto our Zoom sessions. You can go on our website, union.olemiss.edu, for recording of this session if there's anything you missed or you wanted to go back and revisit. And then, of course, please share with your friends, panelists, share within your networks. Use this as a recruiting tool. We want you to be able to have that as well. But thank you all again so much. I'm going to send a couple of things in the chat right now for just general involvement support. So the first is a link to the forum. And so I think that Catherine and a couple of others mentioned this earlier, but the forum is really where we hold all of our student organization information. You can type in and search any of the orgs that are present here today, or our other student organizations. We have over 400. So there's really something for everyone. You can find all of their information there. There's a really great contact button. So if you want to reconnect with any of these folks or other organizations, you can do that there. We also have sort of just like a campus-wide calendar of events that's available on the forum as well, so you can always see what's going on. We also have our Get Involved, our student involvement ambassadors. So you can go to getinvolved@olemiss.edu. Send them an email, and if you just are not really sure where you want to plug in yet, you're still kind of navigating, finding your home, involvement home at the University of Mississippi, we have trained peer leaders who can help you through that process and talk you through different options of where you might be able to find your fit. So we're here to help you, students. We're really glad that you put yourself out there and joined us today, and we will continue to stay connected and answer any of your questions. Again, thank you for your time. Panelists, thank you for your time. And we will share this video and hope to see you this afternoon.